You're listening to the Back Home Network, presented by Homefield Apparel.
All right, folks, welcome back to Crimson Cash. Scott here with you. James will be on in 1 second. I apologize. Second podcast of the day. My throat is a little bit sore. I've been working through an illness, but unlike Joel Embiid, I'm playing back-to-backs. I'm playing through some stuff. I see actually one of my neighbor kids' friends is walking up. He's going to knock on the door here, I'm sure, in 2 minutes. My son's not going to answer. I have to go in and do that. It's just podcasting in real life with kids is fantastic. But thank you guys for joining us. We're excited for another week of Crimson Cash. Before we get to that, our two sponsors here on the Back Home Network. As you know, Crimson Cash is part of the Back Home Network. We're sponsored by Homefield Apparel. If you're watching us on YouTube, those are the coaches' jackets. The Indiana one is tight. Check it out. I joke that the only thing you're going to see more of than the rally towels this weekend at Memorial Stadium is Homefield Apparel. If you don't have anything from them, check them out and use the promo code HOME23 for 15% off your first purchase. The other thing you'll also see a lot of is the Hoosier Game Day Lager by Upland Brewery, the iconic cream and crimson candy stripe can. Check it out. Hoosier Game Day Lager reminds everyone to drink responsibly and go Hoosiers. James, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Getting over a cold. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, but we're making it through. And I'm coming over it, so I'm gonna be good for the Michigan game, which is the important thing. I was like, I can't be sick for Michigan.
I will be down there for the game as well.
Same.
My father-in-law was going to go with me. He's a huge Michigan fan, and I bought the season ticket package. I picked this as one of the games to be like his Christmas gift, and he's bailed on me. So I had to. So I found somebody who was willing to go, and so I can't wait. I'm very excited about it. So
one of my best friends, Danny, is a Michigan grad. I seem to have friends in all Big Ten other teams, which is annoying. But he actually went to Michigan. So we've had this for years. The two things, first off, this morning we had coffee, and he was joking because his parents, who I've mentioned I'm really good friends with as well, and we talk, they're IU fans are through and through. They go to games. He knows I go to games. He knows how much we love IU football. And he's like, this is a little bit like, he's like, if my kids end up going to another Big Ten school, like I'm going to have to root for that school, even if they're playing Michigan. It's like, that's kind of how I feel now, is like the game doesn't mean that much for us. It means so much for you. And like, I know my mom would be brokenhearted. Like I'm kind of going to be rooting for Indiana. Like I'm rooting for one of my kids. And then the other thing, we always joke every year, because I would say this every year, like, I don't matter what Michigan was doing. I was like, this game matters more to us than it matters to you, because if we beat you, we can beat Michigan once every like 20 years. Like you beat us every year. He's like, no, because we're playing for a title. Like if we lose to you, it ruins our season. I'm like, you don't get it. Like you beat us, you don't care. Like you lose to us, you still might be able to do something. Like we beat you, that's a 5-year window. So we argue over that every year. This is the first year he's like, dude, you're right. It matters more for you this year than it does for us.
Yeah, it does. This is a big game. This is the biggest game in program history. And the next game after this, assuming we win, will be the biggest game in program history. So we're kind of at that point now where pretty much every game from here on out is going to be bigger than the last.
I agree, although I think this game is going to be the best atmosphere. I haven't checked the weather yet.
I hope there's towels. I hope there's towels, because I don't want to have to bring my Signetti towel.
No, there are. I did a podcast with Jeremy Gray. There's going to be towels for every game the rest of this season.
Yes.
New slogans, new logos for each one. It's a real thing, and it might be going for multiple seasons in the future. So you'll get a new towel. But I haven't checked the weather. We got to check Galen on this. But if the weather is nice, I think this will be the best atmosphere we've ever seen at a game in Memorial Stadium. And it probably will be the best this season, because even though Purdue's the bucket game, Michigan has an air of, you don't beat them very often. They're up there as a name. They're defending champs. They're a blue blood in college football. It just is a little bit different, and we should beat them, but we may not. Like I think this is going to be quite the atmosphere this weekend.
It's going to be tough to beat that Washington game with game day there. That crowd was pretty hyped. So
I agree, but it's a 3:30 game. We'll see.
Yeah, a little extra drinking, a little extra tailgating before kickoff. Never hurts for the noise factor, that's for sure.
What is your tailgate setup? Tell me while I look up the weather.
My buddy John is going to come down with me. I actually watched the Nebraska game at his house, and he made the best chicken wings I've ever had in my life. And so I'm very excited for him to try Galen's food at Galen's Tailgate, where I will be at in lot 12. So make sure to stop on by, give Galen and myself, a hello and let's go Hoosiers and all that. Although, don't give me the go Hoosier. I don't. That Signetti's trying to make happen. It's the oddest chance. Somebody needs to teach him the Hoosiers thing. Like, it just seems, I don't know.
Yeah, but no one needs to teach us Signetti anything. I think
I know.
We learn from Signetti. Whatever he does, we do. So go Hoosier.
It's such an awkward chant, though.
Don't care. We're ranked 8th in the college football playoff, man. Like, go Hoosier.
I'll let it go.
Weather for Saturday right now is showing partly cloudy skies and 62 degrees at night, 53 with rain showers in the evening. But it just depends on what you consider evening. We don't have an hour-by-hour breakdown. So hopefully, 3:30 kickoff evening. Hopefully they're thinking is 9, 10 o'clock, but we shall see. Hopefully that continues to push back.
It doesn't get dark at like 4:30 now. So with the stupid time change, it's getting dark pretty early these days.
All right, let's get to this week's lines. Well, as per usual for Crimson Cash, we will leave Indiana to last. We are going to start with Iowa traveling all the way out west, going out to UCLA. Iowa at UCLA because they suck is a 6-point underdog at home.
They suck, but they screwed us over last week, so
yeah,
we give them some respect there. In fact, I think this is twice they've screwed us over now. So we're going to stay away from the spread on this game, and we're going to look at the total, and we're going to go over 44.5. Iowa has been killing that total all year, and I expect that to continue.
Okay. You don't like the UCLA spread?
I don't like the spread. I like the total on this game. I think that's where the money's at. Iowa's only gone under the total once this year.
Okay. You were too short. I have a minute song here. I can't end it. I got to keep playing. So we get like 12 more seconds of California Love.
Hey, just let it go. Yeah.
All right, here we go. End of Tupac. All right. So our next game is going to be Minnesota. They're rowing their boat all the way to Piscataway in Rutgers. We have Minnesota at Rutgers. Rutgers is a 6.5-point underdog at home. Man, Rutgers. Remember they were like, are they a stealth chance to make the college football playoff? They are 4-4 and a 6.5-point underdog at home now to Minnesota.
They're having a very IU season, a very
really
Tom Allen-esque season. They start off 4-0. The world looks great, and they've completely shit the bed and lost 4 in a row. Minnesota, on the other hand, since losing to Michigan in a close game, has been on quite the roll. I think they continue that, and I think they cover this pretty easily. I really like this one.
We don't have a song yet for Ohio State. So this is up for grabs. Shoot us a text. Shoot James on Twitter, on X, at CrimsonCast 260, or myself at CrimsonCast 317. We are up for ideas for the Ohio State song. This should probably be whatever just the song of an ass kicking is. I'm not sure what that is, but that's what it's going to be because Ohio State is at home and they are it's a big number, boy. 38-point favorite at home.
So I wrote some notes here, but my handwriting's so shit. I don't know what my notes are. Oh, here they are. Okay, so some interesting other lines on this game. The team total on Ohio State is at 41.5. And so you can get that. Purdue has given up 50 points 3 different times this year to Illinois, Wisconsin, and Notre Dame. All right, so I think you're really getting the Buckeyes to get 42 points here. All right, so first of all, I love that bet. Secondly, I think Purdue really sucks. And 38 points, and Ohio State being 5th in the college football playoff, Ryan Day knows he's got to get some style points here because he might have a second loss on that record here in a few weeks. So they got to get as many style points as they can. Boilers have been crushed by teams that are way worse than Ohio State. The game's at Ohio Stadium. The over-under on this is 53.5, which means even Vegas they have Purdue's over-under at 7.5 on their team total. So, and under 7.5 is, I think, minus 160. So they're expecting Purdue not to get more than a touchdown. I think the Buckeyes roll here. I like their team total. I like them to cover the spread as well.
It's funny you mentioned Ohio State needing style points because Indiana's in the same boat, and I feel like they're going to run it up on like Purdue's in a rough spot here. They're playing a lot of teams that need style points, and they're just going to be a team that gets just punching bagged. Oh wait, no, I don't feel bad because they're Purdue, so live it up.
Oh yeah.
All right, next up, new one for you. I went on my own with the song. We have Maryland going out to the West Coast to play the Oregon Ducks.
Oh, DuckTales.
All right, so Oregon is big number again. Oregon is a 24.5-point favorite against the Maryland Terrapins.
In third grade, I had nothing for show and tell one week, and so I sang the DuckTales theme song to the class.
Let's hear you. There you go. All right.
All right, Oregon's going to cover this. Teams that have beaten Maryland by more than 24.5 points include Northwestern and Minnesota. So I certainly think Oregon can rise to the challenge here in what will be an evening game for Maryland, but a late afternoon game for Oregon. Yeah, give me the Ducks.
All right. Last but not least on the spread, we have Washington coming back to Penn State. Penn State, of course, they're ranked higher because they started the season ranked higher, and they're so great even though they don't beat anybody. Not that I have thoughts. Penn State is a 13.5-point favorite at home against Washington.
Penn State is, without a doubt, the most overrated team in the country.
Maybe so. We don't have a song for them. Maybe like, what's the most overrated song? I don't know. That maybe we go along those lines. Just think about it. I'm not sure.
That would be anything by Taylor Swift, probably.
Oh wow! Oof! No. Not angering the Taylor.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ooh, cut that! Cut!
No, James said it. Come after them.
They're gonna get me. The Swifties are coming. Ah! What would you rather have? No, never mind. Okay, I better stop.
Yep, new topic. I would say I think the number of people who are Taylor Swift like super fans and the number of people who listen to CrimsonCASH are probably two Venn diagrams that don't collide too much. So we're probably okay.
Well, I was going to make a Penn State molestation joke, so I stopped myself at least from that. So
I don't want to start editing podcasts. I want to get this loaded and go get on with my day.
Now, so when I was making my list here and picking the games, I picked Penn State to cover this spread because I think they need to, because I think they realize they're not very good. Whether or not they can is another matter. And so I wrote stay away. So my advice is stay away because I keep doubting what's going to go on. I think Washington is a decent football team. They were one of the better teams I think IU's played this year. I really like that running back of theirs.
Yeah.
Penn State, it's a night game at Happy Valley, though, so that's a big deal because they do usually kind of get up for those, and so I think that gives them a few points there. But stay away from this.
Oh, James,
you don't want any part of this, people.
Is it a whiteout? Can we talk about another Penn State whiteout? Is that going to be so dominating?
How hideously ugly is that stadium, though? Yeah, it holds a bajillion people. That thing's ass ugly. It's like they just, that like end zone, like upper deck. It's just like they just plopped it on there. Like it's disgusting looking. Look, Memorial Stadium may not be the biggest, but that thing is beautiful.
I agree. And it's just like, I'm so tired of whiteout and talk about white. It's like, dude, fine. We get it. But by the way, like, can you guys maybe one of these years earn the primetime game instead of just getting these games? Anyway, I'm tired of Penn State. I'm so tired of Penn State. All right, let's get to the marquee game, the 3:30 CBS game, deservedly so. Michigan coming to the beautiful Memorial Stadium, as called by James, for the 8th ranked Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana is a 14.5-point favorite at home. Indiana has covered all of the spreads this year. This is a big number. I think it's since like the 40s or 50s, we've had a spread this big against Michigan. What do you think, James? Can we keep the cover streak alive?
Well, in the 40s or 50s, you probably had to get that spread for your bookie.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the 70s.
Local watering
maybe it's just
hole.
not even. happened.
Or some wise guy on the corner.
Yeah.
I don't know. But when this first came out, we were looking around 10.5, 11.5 is when it came out. All right. And it immediately shot up to over 2 touchdowns. On FanDuel right now, as of recording this, you can get it to 13.5.
Ooh, okay.
So if you got a FanDuel account, hammer that. I love that point there. I think that point is critical. All right. But I don't think it's really going to matter in the long run. I think we're looking at a situation where IU's offensive strengths are aplenty, and Michigan does have some very good defensive line play, but they're a little iffy in the back end of the defense. And so I think that the wide receivers are going to have a heyday. I think as long as Curtis Rourke can get the ball out quickly, which he's excellent at doing, I think they're going to make hay on offense. I think they'll be able to put up 34 points, probably 35 at a minimum. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get over that. Now, what is the IU defense going to do to Michigan? Michigan runs. We know that's what they're going to do. And IU has, the 6th ranked rushing defense in the country, 6 or 8, somewhere around there. It's
right.
It's top 10. And a lot of that's because they're blowing teams out. So Michigan may be able to run, but I don't think they're going to be able to control the ball enough to make that effective and work, because I think we're going to be able to score more than them. So either way, I don't see them topping out anything over 17 points, because they've only done that, once over their last 5 games. And so I don't expect them to do that. They do have a little bit of a quarterback situation figured out at this point, because they were kind of doing a carousel thing, and then Jack Tuttle retires. And so the new guy's in there, but I think his career high for passing yards in a game is 132 yards. And he was applauded for having such great numbers in that game by the Michigan faithful. So as long as our offense can do its thing and the O-line continues to do what they're doing, I don't see any reason why we don't win by 2 touchdowns. I hate this hook, but I do think that we probably win by 17. Also of note, things working in IU's favor, revenge factors. All right. Signetti's already called out Michigan, so he's kind of got his ass on the line, so they better come out to play, right? Secondly, do you remember what the score was of last year's IU-Michigan game?
I don't.
52-7. Donovan McCulley threw the first touchdown pass of the game, and IU went up 7-0 on a trick play. And then, the route was on after that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar, a reverse situation of that, because we kind of need those style points. Because you can see we're getting screwed. I mean, there's zero reason Penn State should be ahead of IU in any ranking whatsoever by any person who has a functioning brain. So we apparently have to make it so obvious that even people who aren't smart enough to blink can figure it out.
Agree with all of that. I also think our offense could score 40 points, but I think we're going to get maybe a score or 2 on defense, because as we talked about in the last CrimsonCASH, you're seeing more and more teams understand that they have to start pushing harder and harder on offense, and Michigan's going to have to throw the ball because they want to keep up with us. You're going to have to throw it, and you're seeing teams start to get interceptions because they're pressing, because they know if they don't score every time, once Indiana starts doing the touchdown, field goal, touchdown, they can't just on a 3rd and 3, if they drop back and they don't see anything, they can't just throw it out of bounds. They got to do something, or they know they're going to be down 14 more points.
Well, and one thing IU's had trouble with this year is effective tight ends. A few other teams have had a lot of luck going to their tight ends, and Michigan has a really good one. What's his name? Cortland Loveland or something like that. He's got a real like yacht club type name, like Cortland Loveland, something like that. So he's really good, and he may have some success, but they don't have a lot. They do have some good individual players, though, scattered throughout their team. And their best cornerback has been out the last 2 games. Whether he comes back or not, that would be a big deal. But essentially what that's going to do is maybe shut down Surratt. And so, but that still leaves, well, then you got to deal with Cooper and Price and Rice and, and Cross. And so, pick your poison.
Agreed. All right. Last week, as you mentioned earlier, UCLA screwed us on the hot streak. But, James, you got 4 more weeks, 3 more IU games.
Yeah, It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
We got the Kurt Cignetti hot streak here coming. We're starting over again. Give us the Indiana line you like and how we're going to make it a 2-team parlay this week.
All right. We're not going to sweat a whole lot here. We're going to take IU minus 6.5. So that's an alternate line you can take. And then we're going to take Ohio State.
Oh, James got so excited we lost his camera. I'm going to talk for a second, kill some time while James figures this out. Sorry, James, I'm taking your hot streak. So James's hot streak is Indiana. You're taking the alt line at negative 6.5. And then he likes the over on the Purdue-Ohio State game at 41.5. So that's what you're going to roll with, the Hoosier hot streak. Indiana go alt line, negative 6.5. And then the over-under on the Purdue game, take the over at 41.5. So there's your Hoosier hot streak. That's your Crimson Cash. James is totally dropped off, so it's just me, and nobody wants to hear me half sick talk for a while. Probably don't want to hear me 100% healthy talking. Oh, we got James back. I killed just enough time. Right when I was about to end the podcast, you hop back in. What's up, man?
Yeah, my idiot wife was calling in, and I thought I had like the, thing. I'm doing this on my phone because I don't have a laptop, and it's a whole thing. So anyway, IU minus 6.5. Ohio State over 41.5 team total. And you combine those two together at you're getting plus 107 odds. So I think that's a good bet there. I think you'll feel safe on both of those things.
I like it. I will be betting it right now. And we're going to get back to some winning some money. And I feel good for the Hoosiers continuing to cover their spread this week. I had one last factoid to give you that I heard this week that I thought was really interesting. Do you know, I'll just ask you, coming into this year, do you know the highest revenue ever brought in for concessions for one game at Memorial Stadium?
No, I do not.
$450,000.
Okay.
Was the most revenue ever brought in for concession. I don't know what game, or I didn't ask what game. So just keep that as a fact. In both the Nebraska and Washington games this year, each game brought in $800,000 in revenue from concessions alone.
I'd be curious to know if that $450,000 was pre-beer sales or post-beer sales. Because beer sales are fairly new to Memorial Stadium too. So
they are, but I'm not sure they're a $350,000 difference. It's another example of how
we do like drinking.
I know, yeah. Hoosier Game Day Lager. It is. By the way, if that's all Hoosier Game Day Lager, and we have anything to do with that, like Upland, let's up the ante here, baby. I need a little bit more cashola. You know what I should play for that? You know who I'm sending out there? Upland. I'm sending out my boys to come get more cash out of you. No, it just shows how important this Cignetti is for Indiana football and how important it is to have Memorial Stadium packed. It's absurd numbers, the amount of money that's going to be brought in and what Indiana's going to be able to do with that, with these kind of games we're going to have. And we're going to have it again this weekend, a stadium full of IU fans.
Oh, and I'm going to give a shout out to the stadium hot dogs because they're real easy to get. They're in those kiosks. You just go up, you pick them up. Man, them little bitches is good. So highly recommend them.
All right, James, I'll see you this weekend. I hope everyone out there, you guys are out there this weekend. You know where James is going to be. We have our tailgate, just me and my family. It's a small little thing, but we are lot like 9. We're right by the outdoor practice field, just walking up to the stadium. There's little flags there. We're right there on row 44, right on the edge. Come by, say hi, just say we heard the pod, and wave to my kids. They'll be chalking on the ground, and look forward to a great weekend and a win against Michigan. We do this, and it's pretty much all laid out in front of us. We get this one done. I feel like the college football playoff is real, because at that point, you lose to Ohio State, you beat Purdue. Those are both things that could easily happen. You should be in. So it's a big weekend. I'm very much looking forward to it, and looking forward to getting down there and enjoying the game.
Beating Michigan doesn't happen every year, buddy.
No, it doesn't. And let's enjoy it, and let's stomp them.
Let's do it.
All right, man. Well, James, thank you for joining us as always, and everybody out there for listening. Thank you for listening. Hope you make some money this weekend. For Scott, I am Scott, for Crimson Cash, signing off.
Post time.